basically, if you were in that kind of situation? Just actually, obviously, it worked. What all just went into that calculation there?
Well, the coaching staff and I talk a lot, and we had started talking about we can't. If we see victory in sight, we've got to go for it each and every game. And you know, Andy's a key part of this pitching staff, whether he's a starter or coming out of the bullpen. And when the score was 2-0, then it got to 2-1. I wasn't real. You know, Zach pitched 5 innings and only gave up a run. He wasn't typical Zach. He was battling himself, and I kind of went with my gut feeling. If the time was then to, you know, he'd gotten out of the 5th and gave up the run, but I thought the time was now. I thought we had a chance to put some more runs on the board. We ended up not doing that, and I just thought that the opportunity for victory was there, and it ended up working out okay because Andy pitched extremely well over the last 4 innings.
Just what clicked for Andy in your eyes, I guess?
Well, you know, early on he bobbed and weaved. He walked the leadoff hitter a couple times, but then he was able to escape that, and that hasn't happened lately. He usually expands that and makes it worse on himself. I thought the best part of Andy's outing today was the fact that in the 9th inning he showed the experience of a 4th-year senior and went out and went strike 1 on the first 3 guys he faced and ended up getting them all 3 out where there wasn't more drama. You know, we had just left the bases loaded in the 8th with a chance to extend the lead a little bit, so you could kind of feel the tension a little bit, and he went out there and took control of that, and it's a good victory for us.
It seemed like the breaking ball was working, but he was just saying when he can locate fastball, everything works.
That's the key with Andy. When he can locate the fastball, we both fall in love with his breaking ball because it's such a good pitch, and other teams knows he has that, but when he can throw that, it's not a sneaky fastball. It's an 89 and 91, 92 mile an hour fastball, and when he can throw it over the wide of the plate, it makes him very difficult to hit as a hitter.
You mentioned Zach. I mean, obviously, as far as getting guys out through the first 4 2/3, he was pretty much cruising.
He was. It was more. You know, I've been around Zach for almost 2 years now, and from the side, when he got 2 strikes, it was his worst pitches, and I don't know if it's something that he's going through right now. Didn't want him to come out in a positive situation. Knew we had the trump card with Andy. I wasn't going to second guess myself using Andy because I mean it's a guy that has, you know, good accolades and all that, and I just felt the time was then, and it worked out for us, obviously.
It did seem like Zach was kind of losing the plate in that last inning.
Did
something go way off with him? He managed to escape it, but it seemed like once he gave up that double.
You know, Zach is a very committed young man and wants success so much for this team, and I think he's trying so hard that you know, sometimes we can get in our own way, and I think some of our guys tend to do that at times is because these guys want to do it so bad that they can get in their own ways, and again, it was a coaching decision on my part, and I would have taken full responsibility if it wouldn't have worked out, and Andy made it look good by the way he pitched.
I guess it's just how relieving is it to see a guy come in and kind of shut the door like that, you know, in 4 innings like Andy did and make big pitches.
Oh, for some of the stuff we've had to deal with, it was real relieving, to be honest with you. It kept my blood pressure at a good level for the night.
Obviously, it's only 1 game in the second game of a series, but what does it mean to get a win against those guys? I mean, you talked for a while about getting confidence for this team.
Well, you know, I told the team before the game that I knew Wright was going to be really good. I mean, we know that. In fact, as good as Sheffield was last night, he may have the best stuff, to be honest with you, and be the best pitcher. But I told him we were going to have to scrap and claw for a win and find a way. I mean, the sense of urgency is now for this team, and I explained that to them, is that we've got to have a sense of urgency. We can continue to say, well, we're close, and oh, that was good, and moral victory. Moral victories don't get you anywhere. We need to start putting some wins on the board, and when we look down the pike and our schedule doesn't get any easier, we play some good people, and hopefully this is the first step in the right direction. It's 1 game, you're right. It's a big game. It's a win in the SEC, and every win in the SEC is big. But we'll enjoy it for a couple hours, and then the scoreboard will be erased, and we'll go back, and tomorrow will be even a bigger game.
And when you do that, who are you going to decide to pitch?
No, I've already made that decision. I made that decision when I committed to Andy. I'm going to relive the last year's region game, state region game. It's going to be Will Neely versus Patrick Raby. Hardin Valley versus Farragut, and I'm hoping that the outcome comes out the same as it did last year.
Dave, you've been around this program for gone up against Vanderbilt for a while, and then probably followed them before. What makes them so tough to beat?
Well, I have a lot of respect for Tim Corbin and his coaches and how he runs his program. He runs his program with class, and his players do a lot of things right and a lot of little things right, and obviously they're very talented. They get very good recruits in there. But I just think it's a class program, and you know, we're supposed to be rivals. We're supposed to not like each other, and on the field I want to beat them just like they want to beat us. But I look across the field because I've been in programs like that before, and I'd want to say the same thing about, you know, when you're having so much success that people respect you for what you're doing because you're doing it the right way.
What's it going to take to get